Okay.
Oh.
The Holy Spirit convicted your heart and said, Maya.
Maya.
Take a little water, Sil.
Jeez Louise. Okay, where did we stop? And I'm losing line.
Your mama showed up.
Oh,
She
yeah.
went into mama bear mode.
Yes, so mom showed up from there, and
Sorry.
she was like super just irked, but we knew that we were transferring. So in my head, again, going back to the healthcare system, I'm thinking like, when you get the news that you're transferring, it should be immediate. This is no. Let me tell you, that's not how this works. There's so much paperwork that goes into that process. The new hospital has to make sure that they have a bed for you. Not only if they have the staff to, help serve you, but a bed has to be available and all these things. So when we got the information that we would be transferring, it took about, I think like a day, 2 days actually, 2 days for me to transfer. And in the meantime with that, so I'm telling you, all the physical things that are happening, but I need to kind of flip on the spiritual side. Ain't gonna count. In my first week in the hospital at Navicent, like I knew God had me there for a reason, and that I needed to be, isolated. Because my first 4 days, I was alone. My mom wasn't allowed to be there or come in. However, I really wasn't. I don't think I was talking to him. I still wasn't like. A part of me, I think I was upset. I was kind of like, I wasn't, why me? Because I've always been, the person to think like, why not me? What makes me special? I'm not above anybody at the end of the day. But I still wasn't connecting with him. So spiritually, things didn't really take off, or my eyes weren't really open until I went to the second hospital, and it was just wild. And some of it I'm not gonna share because I don't feel like it needs to be shared with everybody at this point. So also I want to shout out to my mom, because even though she wasn't allowed to come in the hospital, since I was admitted, every single day she would drive to Macon, sit outside the hospital from literally maybe 8 a.m. and sometimes even 6 a.m. until I went to bed at like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and got me breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I tore up IHOP. I tore up Buffalo Wild Wings. I mean, just S&S Cafeteria. This is a Macon thing. I really don't eat there, but it was kind of good. Even though they give you food in the hospital, if anyone knows me or you're in my circle, I'm not picky. I'm a foodie, but I like things a certain way. So I was really grateful for that. And not only would she sit at the hospital and bring me food, she send up care packages and everything. And then I had in my hospital room, I was very blessed. I had a window, and my tech taught me how to open the window, but it wouldn't open all the way, obviously, but it had like a little crack, at least where you could send like a paper airplane through. And my mom would come sit in the courtyard, and we would literally be on duo and talk with each other. And to a little side note on that, me and my mom, we are a lot alike. So I think previous months before, and even like for some years, me and my mom haven't been the closest. Like I think even when I was in undergrad, in grad school, but through this experience, I was able to really kind of, I'm not gonna say develop a relationship, but really kind of dive in deeper with the relationship. We still have our issues and kinks, I think, that we'll always have to continue to work out, but there's definitely purpose in that relationship, and I'm grateful for that experience, or for this experience, because it definitely helped me and my mom's relationship. So moving towards the transfer and going to Emory, I've never been in an ambulance. One of my favorite shows is 911. And I was just like, okay, not that I was like, let me be in an ambulance, but I just thought it would be like a cool ride. You're freaking kidding me? No, of course my map doesn't get a cool ambulance ride. So the weekend I'm transferred, this is All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. So if it's All-Star Weekend in Atlanta, everybody's coming to Atlanta. So my hour and 15-minute drive in the ambulance to Atlanta actually turned into being 3 hours. My ambulance had no air conditioning. And with my infection, it's easily triggered by heat and stress. And the two guys that came to pick me up, the two gentlemen that came to pick me up in the ambulance, they were extremely nice. But the one that sat back there with me was extremely talkative. And so when you hot, bothered, stressed, and you just now, you're not on top of your stuff, and someone just talking to you, it's like, ooh, the attitude can be rough. Well, I felt the Holy Spirit convict my heart about this guy, and that I was supposed to talk with him. He was sharing with me about some of his family issues. He's in the military, and he works, in the reserves, and he works as an EMT on the side and a couple other jobs. And I knew with my family experience, I could relate to him, and also really share that, it's hard, but sometimes we have to choose. And I don't even want to say, choose to be the bigger person, but to choose to do the God thing, to choose to do what Jesus would do, and just learn how to love, even if you have to love from a distance and hold your tongue sometimes. And I'm all for respect. For me to give respect, I need to receive it. But I'm trying to work on that. So ended up having this 3-hour car ride, talked to this guy, and they got me out. They rolled me right on the Emory, and I promise you, I'm like, no tea, no shade, Navicent and Emory. I'm sure Sir will put the words there. Night and day experience. I get into Emory, and welcome to floor 6, the 6th floor, we're so excited to have you here. My nurse was another level. She was just obviously excited to see me. She's like, can I give you a hug? And even during COVID, and obviously everyone's been tested and all this stuff. We're in the hospital, and we're still being precautious. I had on my mask and everything, but they were just so nice. And within, I think, 20 minutes, a doctor already in my room. I told you I was hot and bothered, so I had to change out of my clothes, and I hadn't been outside since my sister dropped me off at the first hospital. So I really didn't know the weather. So I had on like sweatpants, because I'm thinking it's gonna be cold, and obviously I have no air conditioning in the ambulance, so just a whole big mess. And I get changed into my little robe. So I do want to say, before I continue on, when I say night and day, I'm not saying that Navicent was a terrible experience. I think some of the interactions that I had with some of the doctors just wasn't the best. So it wasn't the hospital itself. Like I said, the nurses and the techs, like, y'all, I don't care what anyone has to say, they deserve the world. They really were the people that kept me motivated and kept my spirits up at both hospitals. So I just want to make that very, very clear. So going to my Emory experience, I had a doctor in my room within 20 minutes, and then they asked me to basically run through the whole story up until this point, and I give them the whole story, and they immediately say, yeah, we're gonna take you off the steroids. And I started freaking out. I'm like, the steroids are helping me. Mind you, my mom this whole time has been like, she needs to be off the steroids. The steroids that's what's causing her liver enzymes to go up. And y'all, every single day, my liver enzymes are shooting up. So the plan wasn't right when I got to Emory was to start doing all these tests. And let me tell you, after the 20 minutes that I spoke with that doctor, I had people come in my room. They came in and got 20 tubes of blood.
Okay, I needed that pause.
So I also want to say that, besides, my mom being there to physically support me, like my younger sister, she graduated from Mercer University with a neurology degree. And I promise you, when it comes to like talking about the dress infection, which I had no energy to even look up, or just, liver enzymes or anything else, like she was like researching to the point, like when the doctors would come in, I would have her on the phone and she would be like, yep, we researched that. I have a question for you. That type of deal. So, it's really, it takes a village, and I had a really, really strong village behind me, besides just my immediate family, aunties, uncles, cousins, church family outside, people that are in the medical field that gave me advice, like my cousin Trevanya, Shannon, one of my good friends, And my aunt Celeste, like, I mean, people in the medical field that were able to give me advice, and T. Bernice, all these people, just praying for me, lifting me up, giving me advice. So they take me off the steroids. I'm wigging out, but I'm like, okay, we'll see how it goes. And I'm still just on topical steroids at this point. So my first night, I slept pretty good. The bed was a little, funny, but I slept pretty good. And honestly, I'm not gonna cap, I was just excited to be in the city. In my hospital room, I will never forget. I think my room number, I'm saying I'll never forget, I'm saying I think. My room number was like G6, and if y'all remember that song back in the day, like a G6, like a G6, now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6. So I thought it was a sign, to be honest with you. I was like, okay, G6, my favorite number is 8, but I said we can work with that. So I slept through the night. It was pretty good, and the view was incredible. I could see Lenox, downtown, and obviously Lenox, Buckhead, that area, and Eva, it was just gorgeous. I could see everything, and I was like, oh, the lights, we're back in the game, Shawty, I'm back in my city. Shout out to Tyler, because he be swaggy with me. So I wake up the next morning, and y'all, I didn't know this, but Emory, they give you, this is the thing, I forgot. Mind you, they take me off the steroids. They also say, we have to do an ultrasound in the morning. So you are on, I think it's called PCD. I may be wrong. Ray's gonna put like the right thing that it's called, but pretty much it's a protocol where I can't eat or drink nothing for like, I think it's 6 hours. So like after 12 p.m., I'm on this whole PCD thing. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm sure some medical person will let me know what it is, where I couldn't eat or drink. And I drink water like, I don't know. I just drink a lot of water, and I know I drink at least 1.5 gallons a day for me, and I drink a lot at night. For me not to drink anything at night, like I'm itching like a little person. So my mom was trying to she's like, you can have ice chips. So I was eating a little bit of ice chips, but that still wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So I wake up in the morning, and I'm like, how early is this ultrasound gonna be? And I'm thinking, like, if I have to wait until like 9, 10 o'clock, like I'm not going to make it. I'm gonna have a headache. Which is gonna make me stress. Stress is another trigger for this infection, which is gonna make it worse. So then, luckily, I think I ended up waking up at 5 a.m. that morning, and I just started walking around. I go out to my room, I start walking around my hallway on the 6th floor. So once I, get done with that, I happen to be walking back towards my room, and guess who it is? I said, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus. The lady with the ultrasound machine. So it was like about 5:30, almost 6 o'clock. So I knew by then I would have enough time to get breakfast. So okay, yeah, thank you. So I go into my room, and I've always actually, if anyone who knows me, I've always wanted kids, and I think it's just the coolest thing. So for me to get an ultrasound on my liver, it was like kind of like getting an ultrasound on your tummy. And it was just really cool. Mind you, by the way, y'all, I learned so much about my body. I didn't know where your certain organs were at. Your kidney is on your left-hand side. Your liver is actually not, I thought it was down here, but it's actually under your rib cage. And if it's swollen, it can kind of protrude out a little bit. And obviously you have your intestines, but I didn't know your liver was right there. So when she started putting this stuff on, I was looking at her and said, aren't you a little bit too high? She was like, no, sweetie, your liver is right here under your lungs. I was like, you learn new things every day. So I get the ultrasound done. It was really quick. And Emory has this really cool thing where you can, you order your food. So they don't give, they give you options, but y'all, shout out to the Emory chef. Honey can throw down. I don't know if it's a she, he, they, or them. I don't know. But the food slapped, okay? First day there, got a homemade omelet with spinach, mushroom, pepper jack cheese, home fries, as you know, the home fries is just a southern thing. That's the potatoes, plus the blueberry muffin, plus cranberry juice and water, and so little. They didn't have no Honey Nut Cheerios, but they had like the side type of Cheerios. And when I say I promise you, I ate every single thing on the plate. And my mom was like, are you good? I was like, nah, mommy, I'm so good because this slapped, okay? And I don't want to give y'all too much information, but when you're in the hospital, typically you got to be on the thing that makes you use the bathroom. What is the thing called? A laxative. But just to be on a laxative. And I was on laxatives, right? But after I ate this meal, right on through, Shawty. Right on through. So that's what No, that's the truth. They need to hear that. No, they need to know what's up. I'm not even capping. So then, this is the only thing. The food is great, but for you to get your stuff on time, you have to call 3 hours in advance. So when I put my breakfast order in, I went ahead and put my lunch order in. And I don't know what I got for lunch that day. I got this like pesto pasta type deal with chicken and all this stuff. So either way, the food was great. Going into so that's the second day. So the second day was good, but that night I think I had another fever and my liver enzymes. The ultrasound came back and showed that there was no liver damage. So they decided not to do a liver biopsy. However, my numbers were still trending up. So then we get into the third day. I'm feeling okay. Skin is starting to get better. It went from like that bubbly pus to I look like a snake. And I would like wake up and my face would pretty much be on my pillow. But my mom was like, that's a good thing. And the dermatologist and the GI doctor and then my main doctor that was on my case was telling me, okay, that's a good thing. So mind you, if this is happening to my face, this is also happening to the rest of my body. So I'm like starting to I'm still itching at this point really bad on my lower half, and I'm on this other type of medicine and all this stuff. But they made the executive decision even before I came to Emory. I couldn't even take any more Tylenol or anything with acetaminophen. I'm not even saying that right. So Ray's gonna say it for me. What is it? Acetaminophen, right? Because that messes with my liver and that shoots the enzymes up. So third day, liver enzymes are starting to trend down and the day is pretty good. Me and my mom are good. And then that night I go to take a shower, and I would say spiritually this was a heavy day because the day was good and I really started to plug in. I was reading my Bible and I was reading certain passages that God had told me to read that I've been avoiding reading in that first week when I was at Navicent, but I started to read them and they just kind of started to reveal certain things to me. And I was like, gosh, I wish I would have read these before. And then I felt like God was also telling me, and he kind of shared this through my aunt, that and I didn't need to do it in an ugly way, but I didn't need to talk to anybody, including friends, close friends, and even family. So if you weren't in my immediate family, I ended up turning my phone off. I had to have a conversation with my supervisor and said, yeah, my phone is going completely off. And I think I left it in a bag somewhere. I never even looked at the phone for a good while, to be honest with you. So spiritually, it was a heavy day, but it was a good day because I felt like I was finally God had been talking, he had always been there, but I was finally listening and tuning in. And if you don't know anything about things being spiritually heavy, if you know anything about having a spiritually heavy day, it can be so taxing. It can exhaust you. It's kind of like how you could work out. So from there, that night, I was taking a shower and my mom was helping me out of the shower, and I had went through something. I was praying and I was asking God to be healed inside and out. And I also, said that, God, if I don't ever look like I've looked in the past, or if, I didn't gain my full health back, you wouldn't have to do another thing for me. I am still grateful. And I started to say, I am grateful for this experience because this is serving purpose. This is opening my eyes. It's showing me what really matters, who really matters, and where I should have been placing God in my life. and he should be number one. So I get out of the shower with my mom and I say, Mom, I'm tired. She's like, I know. I'm talking about my mom's being really sweet. She doesn't ever call me baby. But she was like, I know, baby, let's just get you dressed. And I said, no, Mom, I'm exhausted. Like, I'm tired. And I remember we're getting dressed. And then from there, I start saying, I said, Mom, I can't see you. I can't hear you. She's like, Maya, look at me. And I'm like, I can't see. I can't hear. And then the next thing I know, I wake up with like 15 odd people in the room. And I see like the shock thing that you see on TV, they get ready to shock you back to life and like prepare to do that. And like luckily my eyes open and I look over to my left and my mom is like on the side, like really emotional. And I'm like, what is going on? And like, I almost coded. And that was, for me, like a life-changing moment. I'm 24 years old. I work out. All the doctors were saying like, you're so healthy. We don't really even know like why your body is doing this internally when it comes to my liver. And I just really realized that I could have lost my life. And it's just wild. I really don't even know what to say right there. Like it was the wildest moment I've ever been through, and that was just a rough night. And they were getting ready to release me, but after that happened, they were like, "Yeah, we need to keep you for a few more days just to continue to observe you." And to kind of share on the professional side of this, I am so grateful to my supervisor and my institution because they really supported me during this time. And I was like out of work for a full month and I still, received a full paycheck. And, obviously being a new employee, there's certain times that I had saved up, but for like 2 or 3 days, I didn't have enough to cover that. And we have this thing called kind of like a catastrophic leave where people can donate their time to you. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And for someone to, consider supporting me in that way, I was really, really, really appreciative. And it's anonymous too. So whoever, if you end up watching this video, I want to say thank you to you too. Because, that's another thing, a really real part. Just because you're sick, and even when you're sick unexpectedly, bills don't stop coming. It's America, and things keep happening. And I don't come from a family where I could just ask for anything. Like I'm like I have to figure stuff out at the end of the day. So they kept me for a few days to continue to observe me, and then they finally decided to release me because my skin was starting to get a little bit better, but and they told me when I left, a ways to go, and a ways to go would be like a couple of months. I was like, when would I return back to like normal per se? And they're like, it could be 4 to 6 months. And I was like, you are kidding me? 4 to 6 months, what? When I was released, numbers were definitely trending down, but they weren't where they needed to be. And basically the game plan was they would give me 2 weeks to be at home, and then I would go and see a slew of doctors, some virtual visits, and get labs redone again, which I would continue to get labs done periodically. I have to go get labs done next week, to be honest with you, just to continue to look at my liver enzymes. And I got a new primary care doctor as well. So left the hospital, and my mom agreed to stay at my house for the first week. And I was really grateful because my first week was hell, if I'm being honest.